Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another installment of What's for Dinner. It's about 5:15 on this very warm Thursday afternoon. Hope you're all doing well. Just remember, nothing we're talking about tonight should be construed as medical advice. If you have any questions, medical questions, please seek out your highly trained healthcare provider. This is just for entertainment, information, and educational purposes only. All right, hon, what do we have going on here tonight?
So I made you ground beef. I don't ever get full like this, so I don't really like it like this, but just ground up beef, grass-fed beef with 4 eggs. And then I shredded a little piece of a block of mild cheddar cheese in here.
Okay, yum.
And then it got dry, so I just added some water.
Yeah, that's gonna fill me up. It looks really good.
You gonna eat this whole thing?
I'll probably eat. It's only 1.5 pounds, so yeah, I'll probably eat it all. All right, you got chaffles over here.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a sandwich. So
Okay.
I made chaffles. So that's 2, 4, 7. I made it with 2 cups of shredded mozzarella cheese, 4 eggs, and a 1/2 cup of almond flour.
Okay.
And mixed it together and then cooked it on the waffle iron.
Yep. Looking good. Okay, and something else too. I just noticed this back here because you had put this in my my ground beef. Is you made taco seasoning back here, and so Teresa made this just out of the pure ingredients. So we went around and sourced the ingredients for the taco seasoning. I don't remember 100% of what they all were, but
Yeah, it's like chili powder, cumin, garlic, onion powder, maybe something.
Yeah, a few things, but we wanted to make sure we sourced it with stuff that didn't have. If you go to the grocery store and you pick up a bottle of any kind of dressing or anything or seasoning, it's all loaded with, industrial seed oils, and then they've also got lots of other ingredients in there that aren't fantastic. So it's just we prefer to go ahead and source it ourselves and do it. Okay, and we got some tomatoes and onions.
Yep.
Pickles. Teresa's going full vegetarian tonight with that now. And then
Leftover bacon from last night.
Leftover bacon, some Munster cheese.
Yep.
And then what we have for meat in that deli
Oh,
meat.
ham.
Okay, ham. Right on. All right. Well, what did you want to talk about tonight?
Well, first of all, we like to eat like we have diabetes, so we keep our sugar nice and low, and that will stave off a lot of diseases. Remember that a rise in your blood sugar activates insulin's release. Insulin activates the inflammation by releasing the clotting cascade. So we don't want any of that. Now, if you choose to do that, like we do a few times a year, okay, but the way we used to eat every 2 to 3 hours, spiking your insulin too high is detrimental to your health. And a reminder, everyone is worried about the C word, cancer. And 9 out of the top 12 cancers are metabolically driven and a metabolic dysfunction. So if you want to stay away from the C word, keep your insulin low.
I thought you were going to say cholesterol.
Never. Never. But anyway, so then I was just going to talk about hormones, because I talked about hormones in men with that guy that I did the case study earlier in the week. Men need testosterone. Even men with normal testosterone levels need testosterone at a certain age. When you start to andropause or menopause happens in the men, when you start to insidiously become less motivated, no stamina, you don't want to work out, you can't build muscle mass, your libido's waning, those are all signs of diminished testosterone. But for females, the males too, but you guys, females seek medical attention much more than the guys, and you guys get gaslit constantly. Signs of menopause is frozen shoulder, hip pain, dizziness. You guys go in with these symptoms and they just want to give you an antidepressant. If you're over 45, okay, so progesterone starts to wane at 35. So if you're over 45, you're for sure having most of you are for sure having perimenopause symptoms. I started at 42. Some people noticed earlier. You need progesterone and you need testosterone. Now you need labs to make sure, but those are the ones in the perimenopause group. They tell you you're in perimenopause, there's nothing we can do. That is baloney. Progesterone and testosterone is what you use in the perimenopause phase. And then once you go into menopause, you add in estrogen. So when you go to your provider, they refuse to run labs for females. If they do, they tell you it's normal, because all they run is an FSH, which is follicle stimulating hormone. Above 50 shows you're in menopause. So if yours comes back at 20, they're going to say you aren't having hormone problems because your FSH is normal. Well, just because you're not in full-blown menopause doesn't mean you're feeling it. Perimenopause can last for 15 years before you go into menopause. Nobody wants to suffer for 15 years.
But you are for sure having an an antidepressant deficiency. So that should be automatic, right? Is that standard of care?
It is standard of care.
For low hormones? Okay.
And after I said that little case study about the 36-year-old man who went in for low testosterone, his testosterone level was 8 points in range. It is standard of care. Like if you prescribe testosterone, you're going to suddenly pick up the DEA's attention, kind of like, because testosterone is a controlled substance. It's an old law from the 80s, from gym bros abusing it, anabolic steroids, and nothing has ever happened. It is literally an act of Congress to go back and get something in a medicine changed, okay? So you're gonna get the attention of, whoever you're sending it into, and so you will never, ever, not once get in trouble for prescribing an antidepressant, not once. There is no reason ever you would ever get in trouble for that.
Yeah, wow, gotcha. Hey, well, one of the, so when you were mentioning symptoms earlier, for specifically women, I know I talk to a lot of women on the phone when I'm at the office and whatnot, and one of the things that almost all of them across the board come in with is like night sweats and whatnot.
Yep.
Is that perimenopause, menopause, both?
It can happen in both, but in perimenopause, we can mitigate it with progesterone and testosterone. But if you go to a provider that doesn't understand hormones, they associate hot flash and night sweats with estrogen. And that's estrogen's main job. So they'll give women estrogen who should not be having estrogen yet. Because in the perimenopause state, and it happened to me, I was experimenting with my labs. And one time I remembered I drew my estrogen level and it was 20. And I remember thinking, oh gosh, am I ready for menopause? It was just kind of weird. And I was like, I don't know, it's weird. And then I checked it again a couple weeks later and it was 70. Then I checked it, 2 months later and it was 300. So it is all over the place. And if you give a woman estrogen and then one day she's pumping out 300 level, she is going to be miserable. But you have to be careful. People don't understand hormones.
Yeah. So you mentioned earlier the C words. We're talking about cancer, and so talk a little bit about cancer and hormones. Are these hormones that you're putting people on? Is there any risk of cancer with them?
So there's no associated risk in taking hormones and getting breast cancer, or not taking hormones and getting breast cancer. I just had a patient, a female, and she moved back here. I forget from one state. It doesn't matter. She came back because her mother-in-law got diagnosed with breast cancer. So I say, was your mother-in-law on hormones? She said no, and I was like, okay. So for the past, and I will talk about this later because I am just getting into this, but for the past year and a half, 2 years, I've been hounding Mark with how can hormones, estrogen, cause breast cancer? I don't get it. I think it's a money-making scheme. Cancer is a big money-making area. I just don't get it. Patients, you guys would come in and I would say, I don't get how hormones that we were made, divinely designed to make, would cause us cancer. And then suddenly I was like, there is so much endocrine disruptors in our society. And then I came across this book, it's in my bedroom, Estrogen Generation by Anthony J. So I screenshotted it, sent to Mark. I said, I need this ASAP. It showed up 2 days later. I got it, went to bed, opened to the breast cancer section. And it is, let me go back. Because when women get diagnosed with breast cancer, estrogen and progesterone receptive breast cancers, doctors never check an estrogen and progesterone level. Because if you're getting fed cancer by estrogen, wouldn't you expect that estrogen level to be super high? I just had mine checked. I'm on 2.75 of estrogen. My estrogen level's 81. So they never check a level. And I have had 3 patients in my whole career of 10 years that have developed breast cancer on hormones, but all of those patients were insulin resistant. So anyway, I went straight to the breast cancer section and there it is, because I started to think when we get exposed to inflammation and fat, our fat cells store the bad kind of estrogen, the inflammatory kind of estrogen, and cancer is inflammatory. So anyway, I will get back to that, but triclosan and hand sanitizers, BPH, phthalates, when you take a styrofoam container home from Chili's with your leftovers, and then you warm it in your microwave in the styrofoam leaches into that, you get it. Fluoride in every well water, because fluoride was a waste.
Industrial waste product.
Yeah. And they wanted to find a use for it, so they said it helps teeth. just like industrial seed oil was a mechanic lubricant, and they had leftovers, waste products, and they said now it's good for your heart.
Yeah.
So yes, you can get breast cancer, and it can be estrogen and progesterone, but I would say the percentage of that from bioidentical, what you've been making in your body for years, is low.
And I think that's a really good point you bring up, is the hormones that you are prescribing are bioidentical hormones.
Right.
They're made to be, first of all, they're all natural. They're animal and plant-based. They're made to be molecularly exactly what your body is supposed to be able to make on its own.
Yeah.
So replacing it is this, it's the equivalent of taking a vitamin, really, if you think about it, because it's a one-for-one exchange. It's a lock and key. It fits perfectly in the slot. And so for it to be causing cancer seems a little ridiculous.
I mean, our bodies can turn on us.
Yes.
But our bodies were divinely designed to heal and heal.
Yes.
And every little micro trauma you're doing, your body is healing. So I have been so bothered by this for the last year and a half. And even now I think about periodically, because I just read that book on Monday, like I'm pretty pissed that I'm just mad that hormones are getting the blame. I just thought it was weird that your provider diagnoses you with estrogen and progesterone breast cancers, but they never check a level.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you want to know what the level is? And I can tell you the level on all perimenopausal women up to menopause, progesterone is always 0. And then menopause women, the estrogen level is always 0.
Well, in Western medicine also is zero interest in getting to the root cause of any kind of a problem. All they want to do is treat it with a procedure that's going to make money, or a pharmaceutical drug that's going to make money, or a hospital stay that's going to make money. That's where the money's coming from.
And not only that, but let me just highlight, you could go listen to Life's Best Medicine podcast number 110 and Simply Authentic number 62. And I talk about this. The Women's Health Initiative has been debunked. And if you want to read about that, get the book Estrogen Matters. It was written by an oncologist whose wife had breast cancer, hormone receptive. When you go look at the Women's Health Initiative, it has pretty much been debunked. Even the authors said the study was released with results that weren't really there. Every single person that has gone back through that study gets the same result, which is not the original result, saying breast cancer is caused by hormones. So that's been debunked, but that's still parroted out there by so many providers.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, we're at 12 and a half minutes right now. That was really good, though. So yeah, you got fired up. I love it when you get on your soapbox. So, all right, with that being said, guys, tell us what you're having for dinner. If you have any questions, shoot them our way. And we love you all. God bless you. And we will see you all next time.
Bye.